Right lads, welcome back to another video. This one, as you can see on the screen right now, bit different to the usual caper that's on this channel. Decided to make a new series, and one that I've never really done one of these types of videos before. I've obviously stated my opinion on different people within Scottish football mainly as a whole on the channel, but I've never done a specific series where I've looked at different players, teams, etc. and told you whether I like or dislike a player, and that's basically what this series is for. It's to go through a variety of different players and tell you whether I like or dislike whatever players I choose to talk about. In this episode, the first episode of this series, is going to be the Dunfermline squad of 2019-20, in my opinion on every single player within the squad, whether I like or dislike them as a player. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And the first player up, Darlin Duncan. Now, it's a weird one. It's a very strange one because he's so irrelevant that he never even played a single game for us. He came in on loan in January, and of course the season was prematurely ended. He may have played for us in the last 7 or so games, but we will never know. So, Darlin Duncan, no, I suppose. I mean, he came in and did nothing, so I can only go based off of what I saw, and that was nothing. So, unfortunately, Dylan, you get a no for me. Next up, goalkeeper Ryan Scully. A popular member within the Dunfermline support, or at least he was in his first spell at the club, and then he came back about January last year after Lee Robinson was kind of shafted out of the first team realm at Dunfermline. Ryan Scully came back. When he was second choice at Morton, he came in and was able to be first choice with us, and he was first choice with us until around about the same sort of period this season, and then we brought in Owain Fawn Williams in January, and then he was the first team goalkeeper. Ryan Scully's a bit of a weird one. Again, I think if you'd asked me in his first spell, I would have definitely said aye to this one, but now that he's, fallen a bit down the pecking order, seems to have lost a lot of his overall quality, I'm going to have to say no, unfortunately. Sorry, Ryan. Next up, Aaron Comrie. This is very easy for me, and it's going to be an aye, the first aye of this series, because Aaron Comrie has been one of our most consistent performers this season, probably second in line for player of the season, behind your man Kevin Nisbet, consistent as anything, and just exactly what you need at right back. Next up, the beautiful man that is Tom Lange. What a guy he is. Obviously, more on the looks wise, he's barely played a game for Dunfermline. He's a very similar type to Darlin Duncan, even though I just think Tom Lange is a better player. I think he should be given a chance next season when he comes back. Of course, he was sent on loan to Clyde, and I think he should come back next season and hopefully be involved in the first team. So, for now, I'm going to say Tom Lange, aye. Lewis Martin, very easy one. Once again, aye to Lewis Martin. He is one of the most improved players in the last 3 or 4 seasons at Dunfermline, and he's now probably going to surpass 10 years at the club, considering he came through the youth ranks, and I really hope the guy can one day get a testimonial, because he really deserves it, and I'd love to see what squad he would bring back for a testimonial, because there's going to be some really fan favourite players that could be involved in a Lewis Martin testimonial 11. But anyway, Lewis Martin gets an eye for me. Next up, Ewan Murray came from the wee team and joined the big team in Fife. You've got to love him for that. I think he's a cracking player. It's aye for me in terms of Ewan Murray. Next up, the defensive partner, or at least one of the defensive partners of Ewan Murray, Lee Ashcroft, the man who won our goal of the season after that goal against Ayr. Now, I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, because it was an absolutely fantastic goal. I personally voted for Tom Beadland versus Celtic because of the emotional attachment. Second, possibly would have been Kevin Nisbet's goal against Dundee, just because of how well he took it. And I would have had Lee Ashcroft in third. However, I didn't get to choose the voting. He's been a relatively consistent performer this season, and he's starting to become a bit of a stalwart at Dunfermline now. He's been here about 4, coming up 5 seasons. So, good on him. I'll give you an aye in terms of this series. Now next up, unfortunately, it's going to be a no. It's Joe Thompson. I had really high hopes of this guy when he signed for us, and again, it's one of the ones that if he'd asked me a wee while ago, I definitely would have said aye, but he's fallen down the pecking order. He's not the player he once was, and I think that injury that he had back in March last year, I think that really curtailed his kind of improvement with us, because it was consistently every single week he was performing well, and then he got that injury and had a long spell out and has come back and just not really lived up to the expectation that he had built himself up to have. So I'm going to have to give it a no for Joe Thompson. And now it's your man Tom Beadland, the man who gave me that moment at Celtic Park, that little golden ticket that I'll claim for the rest of my life was one of the best footballing moments I've ever experienced. And I don't think you'll find many Dunfermline fan that was there that day that'll disagree with that. A man that can make me feel that emotional at any point in my life has to get an eye for me. Unfortunately, in a football sense, he's not really lived up to the hype that he really had. I should be saying no to this yin, but because of what he's given me this season specifically, and the fact that I still think there is a player in there, I'm going to give him an eye. Next up, Gabby McGill. It's a weird one. It is a very weird one with Gabby, because he's a bit of an anomaly right now. We don't really know if he's going to live up to any expectations. He's still a young guy. He's got a lot of improvements to do. I reckon he'll still be here for another 2 years minimum. So again, it's one that's very difficult to call right now. I'm going to say, for the moment, no. Only because I don't know how he's going to turn out, and that's the only bit that kind of sits me on edge with him. Next up, Jonathan Afolabi. I'm going to say aye. I'm going to keep it short and sweet with this one. I want to see him come back next season, if possible, on loan for Celtic, because he didn't really get enough time to shine with us. He seemed decent in the time that he got on the pitch, and scored that goal against Dundee United, which gave me a fantastic moment at East End Park. Next on the list, Andrew Ryan. I'm going to have to be a bit controversial here, considering my own opinion on Andy Ryan when we signed him was that it was the ideal striker for us to sign. He was the top goal scorer in League One for the previous season. He seemed like he was going to fire on all cylinders with us, and he's not really hit the ground running at any point in his Dunfermline career. So for me, Andy Ryan, no. I'm sure Airdrie fans love you, Andy, so you can go back there and you'll be loved. Ryan Dow. Aha! Aye. Straight up, aye. Nothing else to say. He's signed an extension. Glad to hear it. Love you, Ryan Dow. Kel Turner, he gets an eye. I really rate this guy, and I want to see him do well at the club. He's had his ins and outs this season, but overall I think he's had a good first season, considering this is his first time in full-time football. I'm going to give him a straight up aye for me. Ethan Ross, young winger, on loan for Aberdeen, did okay, aye. Danny Devine, a tough one to decide on, because he does split opinion. He's a bit like Marmite, or Danny Devine. You either love him or you hate him. Let's try and say that one again. You either love him or you hate him. And in my opinion, I've grown to him. I've grown to like Danny Devine. So, for now, it's an aye. I don't need to say much else with this guy. The guy is absolutely outstanding, and he's going to move on this summer, I do believe. Aye, 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 aye. Stuart Morrison. No. It's a difficult one. I like Stuart, but I don't think he's got a future career at Dunfermline, unfortunately. So no. Callum Smith, another difficult one. And another one that I'm going to have to say no. Sorry, Callum. Cammy Gill, goalkeeper. Another one that's had a bit of a topsy-turvy season, but I would like to see him stay and try and keep pushing to become a regular first-team goalkeeper at Dunfermline. He's a good guy, and one that is always good to have at the club, so aye for me. Matthew Todd. No. Sorry, Matty. Paul Peyton. Yes. Aye. Every word that would say yes. Give him a new contract on Dunfermline. Go on, do it. Dominic Thomas. Twinkle toes. What a guy. He needs to come back next season. He needs to come back in some capacity, whether that's on loan or permanently. I love the guy. So do many other people. Aye. Josh Edwards. At the moment, no. He needs to improve. He needs to eliminate the naivety from his play, and then it might become an aye. But for now, no. Owain Vaughan Williams. Aye. He's came in and performed really well, and I would like to see him come back next season and challenge with Cammy Gill to become the regular first team keeper. He's been a good experienced head since he come in, and he did that painting for the club as well, so raised money for us, seems keen to stay on at the club. I would like to see him back and for me, it's an aye. Josh Cooley. Perhaps the worst player to actually get a chant for the club. Josh Cooley, I'm sorry, didn't fancy as a player, and he's went back to Norwich. I've not really heard much about him since then. No. Harry Cochran, difficult. I'm in the middle, just leaning to no. Anthony McDonald, another one that we barely seen play, but based on what I saw, aye. Greg Cote, aye. If we could get him back next season, it would be absolutely fantastic, but I don't see it. I just see other teams being able to grab him. Lewis McCann, I like the cut of this guy's jib. He's going to get an eye for me. I think he's got great potential and could go on to be a good player for us in the future. He's obviously still very young, gets games for Northern Ireland under 21s, so there is obviously potential there. Aye. And finally, the management team. They've had a tough time yet. There's no doubt that in their first, 15 or so months that they've been in charge of the club, it's definitely been a topsy-turvy time, but I do think they're on the right track. They're certainly getting the recruitment right. So for now, it is an aye. That could change within the next year. They could be gone within the next year. Who knows? But for now, for me, it's an aye. That's it for this video though, guys. Cheers for watching. If you did enjoy this new series, please give it a like. Comment down below your thoughts on all the squad, aye or no, and subscribe for more of this type of content. And until the next video, I'll see you then. Cheers, guys.